This is someone who's called himself a socialist. He was endorsed by AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. He voted 97, 98% of the time with the squad. He called for, in our debate last week, he called for Israel to go back to pre-1967 borders and for Jerusalem to be divided between Israel and Palestine.
Sure.
This is someone who, claims he supports Israel now because this district has one of the largest Jewish communities in America, but voted 4 times against Iron Dome in the NDAA. By contrast, Mark, I've passed more legislation to support Israel and combat anti-Semitism than any member of Congress in this session. We've passed the Special Envoy for the Abraham Accords to focus on normalizing relations between Israel and Arab states like Saudi Arabia. We passed the SHIP Act and the Iran-China Energy Sanctions Act to take on the illicit oil trade between China and Iran to the tune of $200 billion under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What they've allowed to happen with this illicit oil trade that is funding their nuclear program, funding Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, funding the ballistic missiles. They lifted sanctions that President Trump put in place. They tried to renegotiate the Iran nuclear deal. That's why we're dealing with this catastrophe in the Middle East right now. And frankly, I don't think people have recognized what a disaster Joe Biden and Kamala Harris created by trying to appease Iran and allowing this illicit oil trade to ensue, so much so that obviously it has funded all the terrorist attacks. It's funded the ballistic missile attacks. And then you look at the vice president, and she's saying, don't go into Rafah. If Bibi followed her advice, Sinwar would still be alive. Today at our rally in Rockland County with Speaker Johnson, I had an IDF soldier, a part of Unit 450, that killed Sinwar. He's a resident of mine, he's a constituent, American.
Wow.
But he came back today and came to the rally. It was great to see him. But he was there. His unit is the one that killed Sinwar.
Kamala Harris keeps saying she's going to bring the country together. She's busy in her surrogates calling people who support Trump neo-Nazis and fascists and garbage, Biden. Have you ever seen a campaign, Mike Lawler, even before you got into politics, or did you ever imagine a campaign where people are running against we the people? Have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
It's truly remarkable. I mean, Hillary Clinton 8 years ago called half the country a basket full of deplorables. You got the president of the United States calling Trump supporters garbage. Kamala Harris, obviously, has supported so many extreme policies over the years, including defunding the police, and including open borders, wanting to stop border wall, supporting government-run health care. The policies that they are putting forth are so destructive to the country. And my opponent, Mondaire Jones, agrees with Kamala Harris, hook, line, and sinker. And the challenge here is this. My district and the districts in New York are going to be the ones that determine control of Congress. And we flipped these seats 2 years ago. And obviously the Democrats recognize that their only pathway back to the majority is through New York. They're spending tens of millions of dollars to prop up far-left candidates, including my opponent. But this district is going to determine the outcome. And if folks want to help us, they can go to lawlerforcongress.com or text Lawler to 85007 to give us a last-minute push to get over the finish line on Tuesday.
You know, Mike, we've had, Rich, about 20 House candidates on the program. We have focused on all these tight races, and I've done 5 out of New York because I agree with you. There are other places in the country, too, but not as many as in New York. We got to win these seats in New York. They're very, very important if we're going to hold a majority, let alone build on the majority. And I think you guys, Mike, you and the others, you're very, very solid people, and you're running great races. And you're running against the odds, and you're running against the numbers. Your opponent is a really loathsome, radical leftist, and I'm sure the people in your district know it. LawlerForCongress.com, LawlerForCongress.com. He is my strong support. Mike, go get him, baby. We'll be keeping an eye on it.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Take care, everyone.
You too. If you can help them, folks, help them. All these people need help.